Well, is there already some tension between Marvel and Sony over Spider-Man 4? We got a pretty interesting report that claims there could be some behind-the-scenes drama involving what direction to take the character. Fans have some pretty clear ideas, but it seems like Sony wants to go back to the multiverse well once again. Let's break it all down. Now, before we do that, though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we want to bring it to you truthfully, transparently, so you are really in the know. Well, when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, it actually delivered Sony Pictures their biggest box office return ever. The original big-screen Spider-Man joined Andrew Garfield and fought alongside the MCU version of the character in a multiverse adventure that fans had really never seen before and absolutely loved. Now, with that success, it really shouldn't come as much of a surprise to hear that Sony Pictures really wants to replicate that box office again, and for them, they have a little bit of a different plan than Marvel Studios. Now, we have a new report via Daniel Rickman, and honestly guys, before we dig into this, I am somewhat suspect of what's going on. This film kicked off development a good bit ago, and a lot of it hasn't been high profile. It's pretty clear work has been going on. Now, according to Rickman, it appears that the two studios want to take this in different directions. Apparently, Sony wants to go back to the well once again and bring Maguire and Garfield back and make them part of the next Spider-Man movie. Now, as many of you know, we left off Spider-Man 3 seeing a somewhat soft reboot for the character, and he was finally set up to be sort of the classic street-level Spider-Man we all had hoped to see from the very beginning. Now, Rickman also goes on to say that Marvel wants to go in a totally different direction. Now, not only does he reiterate that Wilson Fisk could be part of this movie, although he makes it clear D'Onofrio is not in talks yet, it appears that Marvel Studios wants to have a very grounded and street-level adventure for the next film. Now, this could very well tie into that Devil's Reign storyline, which might satisfy Sony's worries for a big return, but it does sound like both studios are headed in somewhat of a different direction. Now, this is just a rumor, and it's really hard to tell right now if it's even true. It does sound like the classic kind of studios posturing against each other. Now, like I said, this is just a rumor from Rickman, but I want to be pretty clear. I really don't feel like this is likely very true. Now, I'm sure there's behind-the-scenes discussions about what direction to take the character, but like I just said, those probably have already happened before this ship started to sail. They also laid the groundwork for a more street-based character at the end of the last film, and since Garfield and Maguire are both potentially part of Avengers Secret Wars, I really don't see a need for them to show up in this particular story. Now, how Marvel and Sony works this out behind the scenes, I really have no idea, but I'm sure they will. Sony is just simply looking for the biggest payday possible, and they got it last time with these two characters, and they're probably looking for it once again. Honestly, I think if Marvel wants to take it in a street-level direction, but they do include Vincent D'Onofrio and Daredevil and a couple of other big characters as part of that story, that'll satisfy Sony's need for a big return on this film pretty well, and will likely be another billion-dollar hit. Now, for me, I don't want the two actors to return. I definitely want the street-level adventure. I think it's better for the overall story arc, but I'm sure Sony wants them to lean into the multiverse aspect, given how many various characters they have floating around out there, probably hoping it provides some opportunity or support for those franchises. Now, we're going to watch this one pretty closely. Any conflict between Sony and Marvel is a big deal. We don't want Spider-Man to leave and return as a solely Sony franchise. I'm not sure how many more appearances Tom Holland has in him, but if it's only going to be one more in a Spider-Man movie, I want to make sure it's pretty good.